keeping things in perspective. Sometimes we live our lives and things happen in our lives and we just completely blow it out of proportion. It's that fear, false evidence appearing real. That's what fear stands for. False evidence appearing real. And there are certain things that happen in our lives, and we get so bent out of shape about it, and when things kind of settle down a little bit, it's like, why did I worry so much about that? It's like, why was I so worried about something happening that really had no chance of happening? So this is the little lesson here today in keeping things in perspective. Now, I did not come up with this. I read this many, many years ago, and I want to share this with you guys here today because I think it's so important that we do keep things in perspective and we sit back and realize that, you know what? Things are pretty good. Things are pretty darn good. And so let me just kind of walk through this with you guys. And for a small moment of perspective, I want you guys to just imagine that you were born in 1900, the year 1900, okay? And when you are 14 years old, World War I starts, and it ends on your 18th birthday. Okay, so that's 4 years. And in those 4 years, 22 million people were killed. Later that year, the Spanish flu hit the planet, and that runs until you are 20. Okay, so that's 4 more years. And in that 4-year period, 50 million people die. 50 million in 2 years. 50 million people die in that 2-year period, from your 18th birthday to now you're 20. Yes, 50 million people died. Now, when you're 29, the Great Depression begins. Unemployment hits 25%. The global gross national product drops 27%. That runs until you're 33. The country nearly collapses along with the world economy. When you turn 39, World War II starts, and you are not even over the hill yet. When you're 41, the United States is fully pulled into World War II, and between your 39th birthday and your 45th birthday, 75 million people perish in the war. And the Holocaust kills 6 million more people. Guys, at 52, the Korean War starts, and 5 million people perish. At 64, the Vietnam War begins, and it doesn't end for many years, and 4 million people die in that conflict. Now, approaching your 62nd birthday, we've got the Cuban Missile Crisis, which is a tipping point in the Cold War. Life on our planet as we know it could have ended. But great leaders prevented that from happening, especially John F. Kennedy. And as you turn 75, the Vietnam War finally ends. And I want you to just think about every single person born on this planet in 1900, how they could have survived everything that I just read. Now, a kid in 1985 didn't think that their 85-year-old grandparent understood how hard school was. Yet those grandparents and now great-grandparents survived everything that I just listed. Keep it in perspective. Keep it in perspective. Guys, perspective is an amazing art. Let's try to keep things in perspective. Let's be smart. Help each other out. And we're going to get through everything, right? In the history of the world, there has never been a storm that has lasted. Whatever storm you are in right now, just remember, this too shall pass. Guys, I remember reading that. I can't even remember when it was. It was many years ago. And I was just thinking to myself, wow, to be able to say that you lived through World War I You lived through the Spanish flu. You lived through the Great Depression. You lived through World War II. You lived through Vietnam and Korea in the Cuban Missile Crisis and all of that stuff. And then you hear people today say, oh my gosh, I've got it so rough. It's like, do you? Do you really have it that tough? You know, when you look back at your life and everything that has happened to you, good or bad, you sit back and go, okay, well, that was a tough time, but I got through it. Oh man, that was a great time in my life. It's like, yeah, that was really fun. But it seems like we remember the bad things more than we remember the good things. You know, when athletes are interviewed, you know, they remember the losses way more than they remember the wins. They remember when they lost the championship game more than they remember when they won the championship game. The point is, keep things in perspective. It doesn't matter how bad things really get. Guys, you'll get through it. And you never have to do it alone. You never have to do it alone. We don't ever have to do anything in this world alone. You will get through it. It's probably not as bad as you think it is, and it's probably never as good as you think it is either. So you need to keep kind of a level tone to it, but keep things in perspective. You know, when things aren't going the way that you want them to go, you've got the ability to change it. And just remember that this too shall pass.